So welcome everybody to week 6 of the Mindful Based Stress Reduction course. And we're going to begin with a guided meditation. So if you'd like to get yourself seated, and we'll begin. As you focus on your breath, as it flows in and out of your body, picture the most beautiful mountain you know. Notice its overall shape, the lofty peak, the base rooted in the rock of the Earth's crust. The sloping sides, note in your awareness how massive it is, how strongly rooted it is in its landscape, how beautiful it is. Allow yourself to become aware of your own mountainness. Seeing how the image of this magnificent mountain is felt in your own body as you sit. Your head being the lofty peak, your shoulders and arms, and the sides of the mountain. Your hips, all the way down your legs. The solid base rooted as you sit in your chair. You may feel your own sense of connection and being rooted as you sit in this place, steady and balanced. You may experience your tallness and dignity as your body rises upwards towards the sky from this steady base. Here we can explore any emotions you are feeling, the tone of your mood, or the flow of your thoughts, as if they are the weather around the mountain. Is your weather right now sunny and calm, or stormy with lashing rain? Is it icy or warm? exploring your own internal weather. Noticing if it changes as you sit. Maybe intensifying at times and easing at other times. As the light changes and the night follows day, the mountain sits, simply being itself. It remains still as the seasons flow into one another. And as the weather changes, moment by moment, storms may come and go, but still the mountain sits in calmness, abiding all changes. And as we bring this practice to an end, let's remind ourselves that when it comes to mountains, they have a lot to teach us. The image of a mountain held in our mind's eye and our body can refresh our memory of why we are sitting and what it really means to dwell in the realm of non-doing. So, just a brief recap now on how everyone got on last week with the 3-step breathing exercise, coping, what did you notice? What did you become aware of? Were you able to tune into your body? It was an opportunity to become really aware of your reactions and the results of difficult communications. I hope you found some learning in it for yourself. And perhaps adopt those different ways of coping with stressful communications. And to add to that now, I'll talk briefly about mindful communication and discovering our patterns. And I'll read out some of what those are, and perhaps you'll resonate with some of them, as we all are going to. But which one really resonates with you? So when we're in a communication, whether it's stressful or not, mindfulness allows us to see our own patterns clearly. Maybe you notice that you tend to avoid being close to others. Maybe you notice that when things get difficult, you prefer to be in charge and take control. Maybe you feel that you are repeatedly knocked off your feet when something goes wrong in your relationship and you feel like giving up. Oh, what's the use? Perhaps. Or maybe you notice being fearful about being on your own, or not having the support of other people. So when using the mindful communication awareness of the body, the sensations we take on, and emotions and our thoughts, when we start to learn this, we can begin to notice our own experience in that moment and to see what is our particular pattern or lens into that particular communication that we're having. So, have you become aware of your patterns? Did any of those resonate with you? So just to notice, become aware of it. It can really open our eyes to how we are. And also taking on even body language is something we can do as well. So, when we're in a difficult communication with another person, there's 4 steps really we can look at. And believe me, once you become more and more in tuned with mindful communication, these can happen in a millisecond, the 4 steps for you. So the more you practice, the more you become aware of it. And the more you become mindful. So the first step is choosing to pause and bring awareness to our own experience in this moment. And what are our thoughts, emotions, and sensations in the body? So that's the first step. Really tuning in while you're with that person. What are your thoughts? What are your emotions and body sensations? So step 2, opening our awareness to include the other person. The pattern that you are both part of. Maintain as best you can a kindly curiosity towards yourself and the other person and the situation you find yourself in. And step 3, when speaking, give yourself time to be clear about what you're thinking and feeling. Because from this awareness, you can decide what you want to say. Taking time so you can respond to the situation as it folds, rather than reacting back into the automatic reaction response. So speak about your own experience of the situation as well, rather than what the other person has done. We do sometimes get caught up with, it's all your fault. But when we own it, the pattern that we're in, we can talk from a place of how it feels for you. And to remember you have a choice what to say and what not to say. And then sometimes I find if say you're in a situation where you can't, or you're finding that you can't reason with the other person, so in that moment we need to step away if we can. Wait until everybody's calmed down. So then you can both come from a place of calmer situation, and your feelings and emotions and body sensations are calmer. Then you can maybe talk clearly. And being able to do that. I mean, I know sometimes you won't be able to, but other times you will. So really see that as a prompt of, oh, this is a moment to leave for now until things. If we feel sabotaged, our emotions are quite being drawn in, or heart rate is really high, so therefore we're not really saying how we truly feel. We're saying it out of anger or frustration. So in that moment, better off if you can to remove yourself and until you feel calmer and the other person feels calmer. Because sometimes we say things that we don't mean. Yeah, and also we get caught up in the emotions rather than the situation itself. Okay, so I'm going to just read a little story here, which is a very gentle awareness of connection. So Sonia was travelling home by train. Up to that point, it had been a frustrating journey, rushing for the trains that were then delayed. And as she stepped into the carriage and took her seat, she noticed on the seat opposite her a family, a father, mother and a baby girl about 12 months old, sitting on her father's lap. As Sonia sat down, the baby caught her eye and smiled at her with great openness and curiosity, as babies of that age often do. Sonia smiled back as she sat down and started to look around the carriage. The baby held Sonia's gaze and gave her a great big grin. She was irresistible. Sonia had to grin back, and as she did so, she felt her whole body relax and open, and the tension she had been holding drained away. She recognised that in that moment she felt happy. She looked at the baby's mum and dad, and then they all smiled at one another. Her work was done with Sonia. The baby then moved her attention to somebody else in the carriage and did the same routine with them. And that person looked at the mum and dad and also at Sonia, and they all smiled. This young baby went on to work her magic until everybody in that carriage was connected. No one had spoken, yet all the passengers clearly experienced a sense of connection. So that's a lovely awareness exercise of connecting without even speaking. So this week our weekly practice is going to be mindful communication. So really scanning the body to see what you've picked up in body sensations, and then thoughts and emotions, so that you start to be aware of what you are taking into your body and mind. So from the outside world, also noticing what is truly nourishing and what is not. This also can include interaction with people, food and drink, the TV, the internet, and where you go and what you do. Social media. They say 3 hours on your phone is the maximum for anyone. Anything over that, it then starts to affect our mental well-being. So again, becoming aware of that. How long are you on the phone on a daily basis? And choosing maybe not to be on it any longer and taking time out for yourself, away from social media. So what is truly nourishing and what is not? Really become aware of that in your mindful communication and your day-to-day living. So I'll finish with just reading a reflection. So serenity is not freedom from the storm, but peace within the storm. What lies behind us and what lies before us are tiny matters compared to what lies within us. So, as we bring week 6 to a close, I wish you well over the next week. I hope you're enjoying the course. I hope also you're becoming aware of everything and more in tuned mindfully. And again, if you like this video, please press the like button and also subscribe. And if you know of anybody that you feel would benefit, please pass it on. So goodbye for now.